Okay, rest is mastery, an energy shift that can change everything for you. So, I'm going to be talking about the power of rest today and in how it can give you better results than you've ever experienced in your fitness and health. I'll be sharing a little bit of some ancient principles, some client results, and some solutions for you. So I know that for me, especially, I was telling my girlfriend about my business history, my business story, and I was remembering how just a few years ago, when I was still kind of a baby, a toddler in my business, I'm still young. It's been about a little over 5 years. I did not rest. I would do 12-hour days of work. I was severely burnt out, and it took a long time to recover from that. And I just remember things just, no matter how hard I tried, things just weren't working. It was like I was kept hitting walls. I've also experienced this more relevantly to this podcast in my fitness and my health. Have you ever been in a place where you're overtraining, to use that example of exercise, where it feels like, hey, I'm doing more, I should be getting better results, but it seems like I'm getting worse. Like my numbers aren't as great, I'm getting slower, I'm constantly feeling tired, I'm getting injured. Have you ever been in that place of overtraining, is what it's called, where you're just like, a little bit is good, so why don't I do more? And the more you try, the more walls you hit, and it's frustrating. And you could even be in that place for a long time. You can even be in that place of overtraining for months, for years, where you're just kind of stuck because you don't want to rest and you refuse to take the break that you need. And the only way out is through it. So, as hard as it is to rest, it's so important. So, I'm going to define rest and what it is. I'm not just talking about exercise, rest, and recovery. I'm not just talking about recovering and resting from burnout. It's a spirit, it's an attitude, and I talk more about this in the 4-H method. I'll share a little bit more at the end, but I define what it is and how to do it and why we do it and so much more in the 4-H method. But I'm just going to give you a quick overview here. So, rest is our natural state of being, just being. And if we think about a continuum, like if we take the law of polarity, we can see that there are opposites, and every opposite is on the same continuum. So, for example, we can say light and dark, they're just differing degrees of brightness or differing degrees of darkness. Or we can take the pole of slow and fast. We call these opposites, but they are actually on the same pole, so to speak. They're just differing degrees of intensity. And rest is on the same continuum as action, right? It's just differing degrees of intensity. And something that, if you want to take some principles, even add a little bit of, sprinkle a bit of Buddhism in there and some ancient ideas, some spiritual ideas, is if you want one side of the spectrum, you have to be okay with the opposite side of the spectrum. So usually, let's say, for example, if we're chasing speed, we resist slowness. But if you really want to be good at speed, you have to embrace slowness. This is a principle that can be applied even to running. So if you want to be good at upping your speed once in a while, you have to be okay with going slower for perhaps longer. Same for rest. If you want to be in this place of healthy action where you're getting a lot done, you have to be okay with the opposite, which is rest. But rest, let me define it, is not for the purpose of being productive. If that is your intention for rest, or your main intention of, I need to rest so I can do more tomorrow, or say with exercise, as I need to rest, take my rest days so I can perform my best with my workouts. Rest in the really, really, if you want to go down to the nitty gritty, basic bottom foundation, it's not to be productive. Rest is not to be productive. It's to just be. And it's not so you can do more later. And it's definitely not because you earned it. I remember being told as a kid, work first, play later, or if you want to have fun, get your work done. And I correlated this idea of fun almost being earned. The work is the punishment, and you can make up for it with fun. So you always have to work first. You have to get your things done first, and then you can play. So that was the way that I saw rest and the way that I saw fun and play. But true rest is being okay with just being, without having to do anything, without the purpose of it, without any purpose. And this is why rest can be so closely tied to play, because the definition of play is to have fun and enjoyment for no other purpose than to have fun and enjoyment. In our capitalist society, we always have to like make it productive or make it earn money. Oh, I like this craft. Okay, now I'm going to turn it into a side hustle. Or I like this hobby. Okay, I'm going to turn it into something productive. Whereas pure play and pure rest is just doing it for the sake of doing it. And this takes me to another principle, is it can be so hard to let go and to rest. And I know this for myself, and I know this for clients, but it's almost where the shift, the hugest transformations happen. And there are so many other layers at play for change and behavior change, but especially with your fitness and your health, rest is the meeting point of transformation. So let's just pretend like there's this whole world of fitness and health as you know it. And within that world, there's a secret door. And if you can take the path to that secret door and open that door, it opens up another magical world that is so much better than everything that you've known so far about fitness and health. And that door is rest. So it's like the fulcrum, the meeting point, the little hidden door in this world of fitness and health that allows you to enter another world that is so much more magical, where you get so much better results. The reason that rest is so hard for us is because we like the control. We want to know that if we do X, 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 then we'll get this result, very brain in our brains, in our focus. And technically, yeah, that should work. That should work, right? If I, follow this calorie count, for example, if I follow this calorie count, if I follow these macros, then I am definitely going to lose this weight. Or if I follow this workout plan, then I am definitely going to look this way. If I make sure that I do X and X habits, healthy habits, then I'm going to make sure that I never die and I'll live forever. We want this like thing to control. And again, technically, it should work. But because we are not robots and because we are humans and there are so many factors at play, it doesn't work. It doesn't always work that way. It might work for some of the time, but it doesn't work that way. And we want it to work. We want it to work that way. And oftentimes following that idea of that control of, I need to do this so I can have this, and I need to do this so I can look like this, really holds us back and can lead us to some really dark paths. So when I was, again, in my eating disorder, I followed all the rules. I was told by fitness and diet culture, if you eat like this, if you exercise like this is going to happen. And it worked for a while. It worked as in I got the results that I wanted for a while. But at some point I hit that wall where it stopped working. And then I thought I was wrong. You've probably felt this before, like a diet has been sold to you where you're going to get these results if you follow the exact plan, just follow the plan. And it worked for a while until it stopped working. And then you felt bad. You felt like you were doing something wrong or something was wrong with you. That's the lie of diet and fitness culture. So there's another principle. So we're going to go through this door. Imagine this beautiful door hidden in this kind of murky, chaotic maze of a fitness and health world. Okay, so let's find it, create an image in your mind. Let's open this door and let's see what's on the other side. a principle, and I've talked about this with the dragon energy episode, somewhere down, I don't know the exact date, but you can search dragon. I've talked about dragons in my podcast before. This is similar. If you want something, you have to let go of needing it. That's the door. And rest is one of the best ways to practice that, especially in your fitness and health. And don't worry, I'm going to give you some examples of how this has worked. And I'm not talking just about my life, but what I've seen in working with clients. Okay, so I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. I'm not just pulling this from books like the Kabbalion. I've seen this principle in work in real life. Okay, so if you want something, you have to let go of needing it. Or if you've ever heard of neuro knowledge, he talks about manifestation. I don't know his exact quote, but he says something like, manifestation is this state of not needing something to happen. It's kind of that same principle. And rest, again, it's that fulcrum, it's that meeting point, it's that magic door that allows you to access this. Because especially in our fitness and health, we feel like we need to do, but really change comes from being. Be, do, have, not do, have, be. It starts with being. And that's why rest is an ultimate power move. It's the ultimate radical, rebellious move that you can do in your fitness and health, because when you start with being, that's where real change happens and everything shifts through this magic door. Okay, so let me go back to this principle. If you want something, you have to let go of needing it. It doesn't mean that you don't desire it. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. You just don't need it anymore in order to be okay. You have to be okay with not having it in your current reality first. Because for one, on some level, it already exists. If we're talking about quantum science and physics, every condition, every possibility exists on some level. But the other thing is to recognize that you want what you want because you want the feeling of having it. And this is very spiritual, and I don't want this to take place of you getting, medical or scientific help. So I want to make that very clear. These are principles that can be helpful to understand in transformation and in healing, but never let it take the place of getting medical help if you need it, or going to the therapists, or going to your doctor, or getting help with recovery if that's what you need. Okay, so just want to make that disclaimer. Because there are so many other factors at play, I'm just sharing what I know in these principles that can be helpful for you. So you want what you want because you want the feeling of having it. So let's just say that you want to lose weight. Okay, let's just say that you have a goal to lose weight. You would love to lose some pounds off your body. You know how we talk about, it's so weird how we talk about pounds off our body. It's just strange if you really think about it. I haven't said that in so long. I don't talk about weight loss in this way very much. It just feels weird coming out of my mouth. Okay, so you want to drop pounds from your body. Okay, but let's just say, okay, for sake of example, you want to drop pounds off of your body. You want to lose some weight. The biggest reason you want to lose weight is you think that by losing weight, you will be happier. Maybe you think you will be healthier, which may or may not be true, but you think you will be happier. You might feel like you'll be more attractive, or you'll be more accepted, or you'll be more loved, or you'll feel more confident, right? That you probably have a whole list of reasons that you would want to lose weight. So you really want what you really want. Okay, I'm not gaslighting you, but what you want more than just the weight loss on the surface is the feeling of having it, the feeling of what it will give you. Okay, and when you see that, it helps you understand what you're actually chasing after. Or let's say, for example, I have a goal. I'm going to be doing a half marathon in September. At least that's my intention. So I've been training for it. I have a goal in mind of what number I want to be. And of course, it's just a number. It's just a number. And I could even trick myself into thinking I got it and feel the same feeling as if I didn't get it. Okay, it's just a number on a piece of paper, time passing. It's pretty arbitrary at the core of it. But what I really want by getting that goal, and I believe I will, is the feeling of accomplishment and success, of seeing my growth from last year and how I will have improved. That's what I really want. That's what I'm going after. The number, yeah, it's a number. It's arbitrary. But what I really want is the feeling of having it. And if I'm using this principle, I can know that it already exists. There's a version of me that's already accomplished this with time and quantum physics. There's already a version of me there's a version of me who's done even far exceeded my goal, and I can tap into that person. Or I could tap into the person that does get my goal and feels good about it. But if I am attached so much to needing this to happen in order to be okay, that brings in fear, that brings in a lack of wholeness. I need this to make me feel whole or to make me feel okay. So I need to be okay with not needing that to be true, that goal to not be true in order to be okay. I need to be okay with it not being my current reality. Because when you go into that place, when you go through that door of rest and realizing just being, you realize that you can access everything that you want inside you. That's the magic. And this is what I realized in my recovery and in my journey with fitness and health, and what I've noticed in clients and people that I've worked with, is when you let go of needing it, you realize that it's already inside you. You have access to it inside you, not outside of you. So yeah, it might be fun to have a goal. It might be fun to work towards something. It might be fun to take action, but you don't need it anymore, because everything you need is inside you, because you are whole. There is nothing wrong with you, and you are so powerful to create what you want in your life. I'm going to share a couple of things I've observed with clients. So rest is, I've noticed, especially for certain types of people that I've worked with. I like to work with people who are in recovery with eating disorders, disordered eating, disordered exercise behaviors, or who have gone through recovery and are still looking for a more balanced and compassionate and sustainable approach to their fitness and health. So a lot of the times when I'm working with people, especially in the beginning, there's a very busy mind and a strong resistance to slowness and rest. And it makes sense. There's so many valid reasons for that. I'm not shaming anyone. It makes so much sense. But as I've seen the shift, as they practice just being with themselves and letting some resistance go, when they can be in a place of mindfulness or gentle movement or space, and connecting with that part that is resisting the rest, that wants to keep moving and doing and doing and doing, that hates the rest, when they can shift from that place into their body and connecting from that busy mind into their body, it's like this light turns on and you can see it in their face and their whole posture changes. And the thing about being in this place of rest is it brings so much clarity. It's like when you're in the busy, it's like or doing, it's like a storm, like whoosh, whoosh, all these things are happening. And then when you can drop into your body and practice that rest and that letting go, it's like the storm clears and the sun shines through and it is clear. And then you can make so much more so many more confident decisions and have so much more clarity. And there's so much peace with it. I think that's one of the biggest words is peace. It shifts from being frantic to peaceful from that rest, going through that door. Because you know that you're okay. It's like once you go through the turbulence of, oh, I hate this so much and I hate being still and I need to do something and I can't rest and I feel so uncomfortable. You ride with it. You ride through that turbulence. And when you get to the other side, it's quiet and peaceful. And then from that place, you're making decisions from empowerment and not from fear. And that goes for your fitness and your health. You have more access to your wisdom. Another way that I've seen this happen is I've worked with people who've been really rigid in their exercise routine where they need to follow a really specific plan with their workouts or with their eating, or they need to eat a certain way, or they restrict certain types of food like carbs, for example, or upper limits of calories, or they have to follow these macros, like really tight and controlled, where it's like the opposite of that rest on that spectrum. And I've seen them, even though it's so hard to embrace rest, to embrace letting go. And the cool part is that after they do this, and it's a process you can't force, you have to really you really have to embrace that rest, not to be productive, not so you can do more later, not because you earned it, but just because, and getting into that place, that sweet spot. On the other side, when they walk through that door, they see better results. They do things that they never would have been able to do in that rigid place. And I'm not just talking about like fairy dairy philosophy stuff. I'm talking about exercise results. I'm talking about feeling better in their bodies and loving what they see in the mirror. And it's not because they look a certain way or because they had this goal in mind that they really needed to have and accomplish. That's not what gave them the satisfaction. The satisfaction came from coming back and sitting back in themselves, going through that turbulent experience before finding that peace. And then from that peaceful place, that empowered whole place, they see better results because they're smarter with their choices, because they're not chasing after anything that they need. They're already okay on themselves. And they have discovered the feeling that they were after all along, which is acceptance, wholeness, worthiness, power, freedom, space, joy, all of that. They got it already inside themselves where they don't need to see those results. So everything else becomes like bonus and it's fun. And so you're approaching it like you're approaching your training, your exercise, you're approaching food, you're approaching the image you see in the mirror from a completely different place because they meet themselves underneath what they thought they wanted and realize that it was already inside of them. So you get to have your cake and eat it too. You get to have your cake and eat it too, because you get to have that feeling that you were after all along, and you get to have better outcomes on the outside too. And this is why in the 4-H method, hope, habits, happiness, health. Hope is that you are already worthy and powerful already. There's nothing more that you can add or take away. And we practice this and you access your worth and your power. It's there. You just access it. I help you access it through rest. And I will say that it can be so, of course, you can rest and practice this on your own, but it can be so valuable to be in a structure, to be in a place that's holding you accountable, to be in a place that's giving you tips, that's giving you insight, that's giving you thoughts and support to make it easier for you. And that's where we start in the 4-H method. And then we get into the action part. We undo harmful patterns and unhelpful beliefs around movement and food, and we create new ways of moving and new ways of eating that are unique to you in a way you never have before, because you've gone through that door. You've opened the door to that new world through rest. And then happiness and health are the outcomes. And of course, that's different for everyone. That looks different for everyone, but we have solid habits that help you, whatever your unique health journey is, and so much material for support in the 4-H method, and you're not doing it alone. And that can be so valuable. So just to recap, rest. If you can rest, you are a boss bitch, babe. Well, let's take out the babe. That's weird. Maybe let's take out the bitch too. Let's just be a boss. If you can rest, you are a boss. You are a rebel, and if you can access this true place of rest, even if it's super difficult, and if you're someone who's like, I hate resting, then you're probably the person who needs it the most. If you can access that, the continuum, going on the other side, embrace that other side of rest. If you can let go of needing whatever it is you think that you need to get in your fitness and health in order to be okay, if you can be okay with not having it, because 1, it already exists on some level, and 2, you really want the feeling of having it. If you can go through the turbulence of the difficulty, the discomfort around being still, around resting, then you can reach the other side and realize that what you've been wanting is inside you all along. I know that's very fairy tale, but it's true. And there's a reason that you hear it a lot, is because it's true. And then everything else is a bonus, and you actually see better results than you did in that pushing and forcing mode, that hitting the wall mode. You see so much better results, and it becomes fun. It becomes fun. So if that's what you would like for your fitness and health, I'm going to offer you a huge invitation to join the 4-H method. It's so good. Currently, as of this recording, there is a pay what you can pricing tier. It's meant to be accessible to more people, so you can join as fast as possible, not wait, not delay. And it is based on honesty and generosity, abundance and integrity. So pay what you can, not what feels the lowest to you or what feels most convenient, but pay what you can so that others can pay what they can as well. But that's all in the link below. You can also go to my website, mlroscoe.com, and it's up on the top menu bar. It's not hard to find information about the 4-H method. It is, I believe, the best fitness and health program in the world. It's nothing like I've ever seen out there. We start with rest, but it's not, that's just the beginning. There's so much more to explore, to discover, and it's really meant to cater to you and your unique needs. So it's not a one size fits all. It's a structure and a container for you to explore, a safe place, a solid support for you to explore. What does it look like for you to rest? What does it look like for you to have your unique movement practice? What does it look like for you to eat your best diet, whatever that is for you? And we talk about that. And then so much more. So much more. And it's away from social media. It's away from distractions. It's a very simple minimalist type app. And you could go access it on your browser as well, but portal for you to just be and to discover who you are underneath all of the noise. And then from there, create a life that you desire, because that's really what it's all about. It's not all about weighing a certain number or being able to hit a goal in your race. It's about enjoying your life. It's not about counting your calories or your macros or weighing your food or looking a certain way. It's about you being your full self and enjoying the life that you truly, deeply desire, and having the tools to support you in your health to do that. So I invite you to become your own healthy hero, make your body your home, become your own healthy hero in the 4-H method. That is my highest invitation for you, and I would love to see you there. We would love to see you there and see what results you get when you embrace rest.